Right, this time at the Quick Speed Shop, I'm back working on the 40 Mercury. I'm using Herculiner truck bed liner material. I'm using that to coat the inside of the trunk and make it durable for hauling luggage and whatever else is going on in here. I'm started, I got one coat on. Let me show you the process of how I did it. I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Okay, I'm back at it working on the 40 Mercury here. I want to get the trunk finished up so I can put the gas tank in. And that entails is I'm going to coat it with truck bed liner material. It's a Herculiner. I bought it at the auto parts store. I got a quart of it. And it's like a rubberized textured coating that goes on like truck pickup beds to add some anti-skid resistance and prevent scratches and stuff. I use it a lot of times in pickup trucks when I do the floors, like under the inside of the cab when I restore a truck. Instead of using a carpet or a rubber mat, I'll scuff it up with sandpaper, and then I use the Herculiner and I make a new rubber floor so you can clean the truck out real easy. And it, you know, if the windshield leaks, it lets the water run right out and it doesn't hold the water like a carpet or a rubber mat would. So it works good there. So I want to put it in the trunk of this car because I have upholstery that goes over the wheel wells here. I've got it trimmed down from the original build, and then I don't have any to put on this back panel right now, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get to doing the rest of the upholstery, but in the meantime I want to protect the trunk from wear and tear. So I'm going to coat the whole floor. I'm going to coat this back panel. I'm going to do the wheel tubs up into here, even though the upholstery comes up there, but eventually I'll have a carpeted panel go over this, but in the meantime I want to protect it with a Herculiner. So I've already taken some 180 grit sandpaper, and I sanded all the flat black that was in the trunk, and then I used Scotch-Brite to get in all the nicks and crevices. You can see a little bit of the brown primer sticking through. That's fine, it's not going to hurt it to put the Herculiner on right over that. So I got it all scuffed up and cleaned out and wiped out with a rag. And I've crudely taped up the bolt holes for the gas tank, even though, because you're not going to see it. But I want to get the rubber underneath the gas tank to make like a kind of a gasketed seal. So when the tank goes down, it'll sit on the rubber and be less likely to have rattles and squeaks and stuff like that. So I'm going to paint the whole thing, but I just crudely taped up the holes just to keep Herculiner out of the threads of the nut inserts, because it'd make it, could get in there and bugger up the threads. So ready to apply this. Usually when you're doing it in a pickup truck, you use a roller. They sell a kit with a real heavy nap roller. I just use a... when I do it, I just take a cheap chip brush. These are like, I don't know, like $1 from like Harbor Freight or whatever. And I just like dab it on and just kind of work it and just dab it on this way and use the chip brush to dab it on. The only problem is the bristles always fall out of these things. They make a mess, but they're cheap. I just use them once and throw them away. So I'm going to use the 3-inch brush to apply this. So we'll go ahead and we'll open up the Herculiner. You got to stir it up real good, and then we'll get right to applying it. Well, this stuff gets everywhere, so you're going to want to, and it takes a long time to get off, so I'm going to put on some rubber gloves. It sticks really good to your skin. You want to wear old clothes so you don't get it all over the place. Yeah. Ooh, I'm like a surgeon. The can comes with these metal clips here to hold the lid on. You got to get them off there first, which might require a screwdriver. Get off there. Now you usually got to work the lid around. It sticks down pretty good, and it gets kind of mangled trying to get it off. I just go around my paint lid popper here and just kind of try to work it. She's on there good. I'm trying not to destroy it because I want to put the lid back on. Woo! Man, that was tough. Well, hopefully that'll seal again. I kind of had to mangle it to get it open. So you open it here, you're going to see it's all liquidy in the beginning. And I like to take like an old rod or something. All the rubber is down in the bottom. See the chunks of rubber here? I've got to take this and mix it up thoroughly to get the rubber mixed in with the solvents. And the stuff's pretty got a pretty good odor to it too, so you're going to want to have some adequate ventilation when you're doing this. But I've got to go ahead and work this for a while to get all these clumps. I'm just going to keep stirring it and turning it over and stirring it and turning it over. Usually takes probably like 5-10 minutes till it gets it all mixed up good. So I'm just going to work that. You guys can hang out, come back in a second when it's all mixed up. The trick you can do is put this in the drill, and I can just let it turn over slowly. I'm just going to mix it up like this with a drill for a few minutes. Okay, now I've got it mixed up to a good consistency here, ready to start applying. I'm just going to show you, set this down here. Is it going to spill? Nope. Let me bring in closer for close-up. So what I do is I just take it and I get some on the brush like this, and it'll work itself in better here, but first one, I just don't want to put too much on. Then I just lightly dab it. I just lightly dab it into place. You don't want to put it on super thick. We're going to do a second coat. But I'm just going to dab it on like here, like this. And you can see the rubber crumbs in there. Hope we got a shadow. You see the rubber crumbs in the coating. I'm just going to keep applying and dabbing it until I get my desired coverage. Like I said, the first coat, you're going to want to use 2 coats. So the first coat, I'm just trying to get some coverage on here. You'll be able, if this wasn't black underneath, you'd be able to see the color of the original material. You know, if this is white, you'd see white through it right now. So the second coat is your coverage coat. We're just going to put some on, tack it all up, and cover it up good here. The first tacking coat, then hit it good with a second coat. I'm only going to go up about this far to cover up this welded area. I'm just going to stop about here because it'll be behind the interior panel. But I want the rubber to be in the creases sealed up. I want to go where this panel transitions, hide that a little bit, and seal that up good there. You can see that it makes a good coverage point. This will make a nice waterproof barrier for this trunk area. If the trunk seals leak, or you know, the windows leak and water gets into the trunk, it'll run off this rubber and run out to the drain holes I have in the back of the trunk area. So it's gonna work out good here. You can hear the furnace running. I've got it about 60 something degrees in here. You don't want it too cold, or else stuff will take forever to dry. And it takes, I think, about 24 hours to cure fully altogether. But this first coat, I'll put it on, I'll put the fan on it, I'll let it tack up, and then I'll put the second coat on. Well, if you ever done Herculiner, I can tell you that it reeks without the mask on. I had to get my respirator out. So I got the first coat on. Woo! It stinks! Got the first coat on here. I'm going to go ahead and set up a fan and let this blow. It says 1 to 2 hours for the first coat to tack up and dry. I think with my big fan I can let it blow and dry it a lot faster. Then I'll put the second coat on, and that's about 12 hours to let the second coat get completely dry and all that. So I won't be able to do too much more work in this back area here. But it's a good step. I wanted to get this done so I can get the gas tank installed. So I'll set my fan, let her dry out, and I'll throw a second coat on it, and then it'll be coated up nice. And in the meantime, I can tinker on some other stuff while it's drying. But man, it stinks like Herculiner in here. Okay, so it's been a couple hours. The first coat's all tacked up here, so I'm ready to take the second coat and apply it. The same thing. I'm just going to dab it on. I can do a little more brushing. But I'm going to put the whole second coat on. It'll do all the coverage coat. So same process as before. I'll just dab it on, and I'll do a good coverage coat here. I'll get some more in here there's like some thin spots of the original coverage. I'll get it all a good heavy coat on here. That's got to dry overnight, and then this thing will be ready to go. But it's pretty much that easy, and it makes a nice durable rubber surface for inside the trunk floor. So I'll go ahead and apply that. You don't need to watch that because it's the same as the last time. And then we'll come back tomorrow and see how it dried and see how it looks. All right, bam, here we go. It's a couple days later, and the Herculiner's all dry. It looks good. I put the accent panel back in here. I did that separately and screwed it back down. But you can see what the two coats of the rubber looks like. It's awful shiny right now, but if this was an outside application, it would dull down eventually and get like a dull finish on it. The sun really fades it out, and I've actually painted over stuff like this. With paint, it ends up, if you scuff it a little bit like Scotch-Brite, it holds paint pretty good. But the whole trunk is all Herculined ready to go now. Mustang gas tank, somebody put like trunk spray or like kind of like rubberized, probably like same thing but just in a rattle can here. But they didn't scuff the tank, so it's peeling off. So I got to hit this with a sander, rough it up somehow, and I'm going to throw a layer of Herculiner on top of this to make this shiny again. I'm waiting for a filler neck here. This is for the Mustang gas tank. It would have had a rubber elbow that would have come off here and gone to the sail panel or tail panel in the back of the Mustang. But it's 2 1/4 inch. I've got a short 2 1/4 inch filler cap with a vent coming, and I'm going to use that fuel filler hose over there to connect the two together. So as soon as I get that, I can clean this up and set it in the car, bolt it down permanently in the hole, and get that, and then I can start running the fuel line. Good progress on the Mercury here. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I use this Herculiner when I'm doing restorations on like trucks that had like a rubber floor mat or even a carpet. I'll Herculine the whole inside of the truck cab, so if any moisture comes in or the windshield leaks or whatever, the water will run off the rubber and run outside the cab and not just sit there and eat the metal up. I put it in the back of cars like this. I sometimes, like my running boards on some cars where there's a lot of stone chips, I'll paint the inside of the fenders and the inside of the bottom of the running boards, like in my 30s and 40s cars, their drivers. I'll Herculine the whole inside of the fender, and it does a ton to help with stone chips. If you see cars that have big bulbous fenders, you'll get sometimes stones will hit the fender and actually dent the fender, and it'll make a star in the paint on top. So if you take the Herculiner and paint the inside of your fender, it adds that layer of rubber protection. The stones will hit and bounce off, and they won't star the paint up on top of the fender. So I've done that in like my 46 Studebaker truck. I Herculined the inside of the fenders on that and the underside of the running boards, and actually the top of the running boards too, to make them more durable. But the stuff works good. It's durable. It sticks pretty good. So I've had a lot of good luck with it. So there we go. One step closer to getting the 40 Mercury done. Once I get the fuel system in, and I can set the car down then, and all I got to do is relocate the battery up to the front. Instead of in the trunk, I'm going to mount it up in the front of the car, make some new battery lines. And I should be able to fire the thing up then. I got to do, let's see, still got to take the transmission out, fix a clutch issue. But other than that, should be able to get it driving here within the next couple of weeks. That's my goal, so I can work on some other stuff. So pretty happy the way things are coming out with it, and I can't wait to drive it this summer. So thanks for watching. Come back again. We'll see you at the Quick Speed Shop.